The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'. With those words by Bob Dylan, I'd like to welcome you to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Kendra Wise, I'm a member of the worship ministry, and I'm your worship associate this morning. In this liberal religious community, we welcome all. Our generations join together to nurture spiritual growth and personal transformation, that we may be inspired to transform the world with love, hope, compassion, and justice. In Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world, the symbol of the lighted flame in a chalice unites members in worship and symbolizes our faith in action. It represents the warmth of community and the flame of hope. The flaming chalice, like our faith, stands open to receive new truths that pass the tests of reason, justice, and compassion. If you're joining us on Zoom and you have your own chalice, please join me in lighting this flame as it represents our connection to one another. Let's read aloud our chalice lighting words by Leslie Takahashi. They'll be on the screens. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life that we share.
Welcome to this house of memory and celebration. Our call to worship words come from Ralph Waldo Emerson. There is a deep power in which we exist and whose beatitude is accessible to us. Every moment when the individual feels invaded by it is memorable. It comes to the lowly and simple. It comes to whosoever will put off what is foreign and proud. It comes as insight. It comes as serenity and grandeur. The soul's health consists in the fullness of its reception. Forever and ever, the influx of this better and more universal self is new and unsearchable. Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our mind, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love. This is our time for meditation, just a few moments of quiet. Get comfortable in your seats and be aware of your connection to the earth. Take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind, down the foggy ruins of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted, frightened trees, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. Yes, to dance beneath the diamond sky with one hand waving free, silhouetted by the sea, circled by the circus sands, with all memory and fate, driven deep beneath the waves. Let me forget about today until tomorrow. The saying is, if you can remember the 60s, you weren't really there. My favorite memory of the 60s is rolling down the road in my wobbly Mercury Comet, indulging in the one thing that I saved my pennies for, which was a really low-end sound system, speakers in the doors, and a high-tech 8-track deck. And out of this is coming The Times They Are A-Changing. It was a hymn, as were many of Dylan's songs. And songs matter. Songs make up our youth. They help us set our vision. They give us an idea what the world is like, what our journey is going to be like. So today I want to talk about some of Dylan's songs. Back in the day, George Carlin used to make a joke. He would pretend to be a newscaster, and in music news, there are rumors that Bob Dylan might be getting back together. So I'll start with Times They Are Changing. Here, this is a spiritual summons. It's got a biblical image. Come gather around people wherever you roam and admit that the waters around you have grown. Here's the flood. This is Noah. He worked from the text. He worked from myth and scripture and took this prophetic stance. It wasn't to draw attention to him. It was to be a channel. It was the prophecy of the times. It was the prophecy of the collective consciousness. He would just put it into words. But a deluge was coming, and deluges come from time to time. Perhaps we're in the middle of another one. You'd better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. This imagery represents kind of a threshold. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. This is betwixt and between, and it's a personal song, and it's a collective song. It's a song of transition and transformation. The challenge is our fear of change. There are times when we need to let go of our attachment to stability and allow things to get better. In concerts, Dylan was known to mumble a few words to about his bandmates and things. He said his guitarist Larry bought a pig the other day. I asked Larry where he was going to keep the pig, and he said under his bed. And I said, what about the smell? And Larry said, the pig will just have to get used to it. Once upon a time, you dressed so fine, you threw the bums a dime in your praise, didn't you? People would call, say, beware, doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you. Okay, this is a song, Rolling Stone, about a great fall. Maybe it's the fall from grace, or maybe it's everyone's rude surprises when we start getting a little set. Well, just as soon as you're feeling things are all figured out, they fall apart. That's just one of those things that seems to happen to everybody. So it's a spiritual parable about losing. This one speaks to anybody who has lost a job, a relationship, a belief system, or been cast out, or misunderstood, or humbled, or found themselves in the wilderness, unsure of what comes next. There are times we have to learn to trust the unknown. No direction home. That suggests a kind of homelessness when the old maps don't work anymore, when there's no comfort from status or certainty. It's dislocation without destination. But what might be happening is a false self might be collapsing, a moment of deconstruction that is for the better. It's not punishment, it is a threshold. It is a step toward transformation. It's a moment of pilgrimage, to move beyond fixed roles. The unknown can be a blessing. The spiritual master talked about the cloud of unknowing, when the familiar collapses and allows the emergence of something more authentic. Okay, back to Dylan on tour. He said the fiddle player, Larry, was writing to his girlfriend in the hotel, and Bob said, Larry, you can't write on an empty stomach. You've got to use paper. A lot of good Dylan jokes, there's something about it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there ain't no place I'm going to. We're in circus imagery here, or maybe it's a bedtime story, I'm not sleepy. Play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. What is this jingle jangle morning? Is this nonsense lyric? Is he in the realm of Alice in Wonderland? Or is it the sound of that tambourine? The tambourines were used in sacred dance. That's a liturgical reference. It's a visionary poem, a meditation on imagination, transcendence, and longing for spiritual liberation. Very dreamlike, drawing on surrealist and symbolist traditions. The speaker is addressing a muse, a spirit, a divine figure. What is this tambourine man? Some angelic presence, and it's in this circus environment, this place of ambiguity, moral ambiguity. Circuses were times when the rules were somewhat suspended and people dressed in strange ways, and you entered the dream for a moment. It's kind of at the margins, it's out at the edge of town. I was a little annoyed. He would make up these stories about his time with the circus or the carnival. He had never done that. I had done that. I joined the circus for one day. The local circus came, the Clyde Beatty Cole Brothers Circus was an old-time touring tent circus, a truck circus, although later they were on trains, and it came just a mile from my house, and the word got around the school that boys, if they showed up early, could earn a ticket if they helped set up. And so a bunch of us showed up, all in the range of somewhere between 11 and 14. They were young boys, but strong and eager. And they pulled the tent up with the elephants, actually pulled the ropes and had the poles lift up the tent. They had this all down like clockwork. Our main job was setting up folding chairs, which was really boring, and we did a lot of them, and we set the whole place up and got our ticket. Well, actually, my father had already bought tickets, so I gave it to some kid. I wanted to just be there and be part of this, and it was very cool. And the big cats and all this is all great stuff. And they had the human cannonball. I had seen that earlier. It had been with the bigger circus, and I had seen the guy get shot out of the cannon before, but I was eager to see this again. I think his name was Zucchini, but I always said Zucchini. Anyway, there's a story about the time the great Zucchini went to the boss, back when he had been with Ringling Brothers, and he said, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting too old to be shot out of a cannon twice a day. I've got to stop this. And John Ringling North, whatever his name was, said, you can't leave me. I mean, I can't replace you. Where would I get another man of your caliber? No accounting for taste. The song was inspired by an Italian movie called La Strada. Maybe some of you saw it. It was Anthony Quinn as a muscle man. And very modest. It was beyond modest. They were touring as a two-act. He had a girlfriend who was a very sad girl, and they had a three-wheel motorcycle truck, which was a thing in the 40s and early 50s, and kind of lived in there and show up a little town and put on their little show and pass the hat, and this was the story. That ended very sadly, as those Italian movies in the 50s tended to do. It is really memorable. Had a big impression on Bob Dylan. He wrote a lot about clowns and jugglers and trapeze artists. Well, we're all clowns. And sometimes he said it as an insult, like some politician was being a clown, but often it was reflective, like there are moments when we're the clowns, and we're all juggling, we're trying to make life work, and we're all trapeze artists, sort of trying to get to the next bar, hoping we don't fall. The song is a plea for awakening. The tambourine man is kind of a mystical figure. Maybe he's a stand-in for the inner guide or something. I'm not sleepy. There's no place I'm going to. Well, there's a restlessness in that. Maybe we're being called to our true self. Back on tour, Dylan said this about his drummer. We went golfing this afternoon, and he wore two shirts in case he got a hole in one. Oh, you're turning on me, I can tell. Blowing in the wind. How many roads must a man walk down? Well, we call it the interdependent web, the concern for the dignity of every person. The road, that's our road, okay? A prayer for recognition before you call him a man, a little human dignity. Is there a divine spark in every person, regardless of status or circumstances? Can we work for peace in a world torn by war? How many seas must a white dove sail? Well, peace is elusive. It's always in motion, never quite anchored, always has to be worked on. It's the bird flying out of the ark there. Can it find something? The answer is blowing in the wind. The refrain comes up again and again. It's a kind of a whisper. The wind, like the mystery, unseen yet ever present. Is this holiness right close? Is it the unknowable? It's both omnipresent and intangible. The wind is a symbol of the unconscious or the divine or the collective wisdom. It is felt but not grasped, heard but not held, and it repeats. That's our wrestling with the big questions, with injustice, mortality, meaning. And the whole thing's kind of ambiguous, like his whole oeuvre tends to be. There's an empowerment there. He's leaving it up to the listener of the song, of the poem, that we're going to have to interpret this and try to find our form of contribution. In the ambiguity of his lyrics, we have openness. That's how we get to something beyond the known, but beyond the physical, the elusive presence that Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about in The Oversoul. It's not protest. It's more of a prayer, a meditation on justice, peace, and mystery. Its questions are not rhetorical complaints, but invitations to awaken the conscience and listen for the voice of spirit and the winds of change. To live not with certainty, but with a faithful questioning. May we walk the roads with courage. May we listen to the wind with reverence. May we live the questions with love. Okay, I'm off the road now, but I do have one light bulb joke. It's kind of required. How many Bob Dylan fans does it take to change a light bulb? All of them. One to screw in the bulb, and the rest to complain about it being electric. Yeah, you had to be there. Yeah, okay. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young. Well, the opening words echo the priestly blessings from the book of Numbers. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you. It's a litany of blessings. There's a cadence of the Psalms, a meditative incantation. It's a rhythm that builds emotional momentum. May you always be courageous, stand upright, and be strong. Well, there's a prayer for moral courage. It calls us to live with integrity, to stand for justice, even when it is hard. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. Now, there's a blessing for purpose and presence. It speaks to the sacredness of action, of using our gifts in service to others. To be busy and swift is to be engaged with the world with intention and vitality. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be strong. There's a prayer for resilience, that even in sorrow we may find a song to carry us through. The heart and song are metaphors for authentic self-expression and emotional vitality. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. Is that Jacob's ladder? Is that spiritual ascent? Is it a call to reach beyond the ordinary? May you stay forever young. It's not a denial of aging. It's a celebration of the eternal child within, the part of us that still believes, still hopes, still loves without condition. To be forever young is to remain supple, to resist cynicism, to embrace wonder, to keep learning and loving. It's a celebration of wholeness. It speaks to the inner child, the part of us that remains curious, open, and unafraid. Action steps from each song. Okay, the times they are changing. Discern the waters. What waters are rising in your life or in the community or the world? What truths are becoming undeniable? Bless the thresholds. One that you're crossing in your career, your relationship, in your belief system, in your life stage. See if you can make a ritual to honor it and ponder it. Not fix it, study it. How does this also apply to the collective? Like a rolling stone. Well, it's about a fall. What's the fall? Is there a time when you lost face, lost some status, lost a place? Is there any grief that still needs to be done about that? Take action. Write a letter to your old self, the version of you in the words of the song once had it all, that felt like in charge, felt cool, okay? We got to recover from feeling cool. How do you see it differently? Can you show some compassion to the part of you that needed to be proud? Bless the unknown, welcome the wilderness. Maybe spend a little time out in nature. Let the wildness outside match the wildness inside. Mr. Tambourine Man, okay, see if you can identify your tambourine man. What in your life calls you toward greater freedom or creativity? What is your muse, guide, or inner voice? And what do you ask of it? See if you can create a sacred sound ritual. We use bells here, but in traditions there are drums, there are in fact tambourines, sounds that help us clear our mind, help us deepen our attention. Name your magic swirling ship, a wonderful image in that lyric. What carries you beyond the ordinary? Is it art? Is it nature? Is it silence? Honor it as a vessel of discovery. Blowing in the wind. Meditate on the wind. Take a walk in silence. Listen to the breeze. Listen to the wind. Let it speak to you. What truths are blowing around you? Reflect on what wind symbolizes in your life. Change, transcendence, freedom. Embrace the questions. Remember, Rilke told us to live the questions now. Write your own prayer, your own litany, composed entirely of questions like that song does. Forget the answers, just get the questions down. Forever young. Do your own ritual of blessing. Take out the words and read them to a child, or imagine reading them to a child who may be all grown up now, or to the child within yourself. And then compose a similar blessing for someone you love. Or for yourself, include what keeps you alive, curious, and brave. Oh, reflect on your rungs, the various things you've climbed in your life. What lesson did each rung teach you? In conclusion, remember to be forever young. It's not denying the passage of time. It's embracing the eternal within us. It is to live with a heart that sings, hands that serve, and a soul that climbs. It is to bless and be blessed. Dylan's lyric is a poem, a prayer, and a promise. May we stay forever young, not in years, but in spirit. May our lives be poems of compassion. May our eyes remain open to wonder, and may our songs never fade. Namaste. Blessed be, and so it goes.